Good times. Good times. Good times.
What up, everybody? This is another episode of High Definition Podcast. I'm Maurice.
I'm Therese.
And we are back for another episode. We're not going to tell y'all what we just said.
Oh, man.
I'm not even going to tell y'all what we just said.
We're not even going down that lane. Let's trip down memory lane. I was just, what? It was at 8th grade? That song came out? I think that was 8th grade.
8th or 9th grade.
8th or 9th grade, yeah. One of the other ones. But anyway, we're not going to tell you what song it is. But yeah.
My brother, what's been going on?
Oh, man, just getting ready for this move.
Yes, if y'all remember a couple episodes ago, we wanted him to get that house sold.
I sold it. We sold that bad boy.
Hey.
So we closed on the sale of the house on the 21st. And then we close on our brand new home the next day. So, yeah. So, God's been good. So,
I'm happy for him.
Appreciate it, bro. But, yeah, yes. we gave a lot of incentives. A lot of incentives. That's all I'm going to say. So, yeah. If you just saw the incentives, you would have wanted to buy it, too.
If I was in the market, I probably would have took on that, too. So.
But other than that, though, bro, daddy duties, husband duties, everything in between. What about yourself, bro?
I'm just yet waiting.
Waiting.
Yep.
Waiting.
I need some doors to open, like
pronto.
Yeah.
Pronto.
But other than that, family circle ain't been broken.
Bet.
So
love it.
When you see things on from that angle, it all works out.
It works out.
Y'all know what we about.
The conversations.
All about the convo. We do try to do everything from a biblical perspective.
Yes.
I think our motto is we engage in cultural conversations from a biblical perspective.
Yes.
We welcome your feedback. There's a link tree in the description. Hit us up.
Please do.
Whether you agree with us or whether you disagree with us, we want to hear it. The only thing we don't want to hear or tolerate is your disrespect.
You will get the Matumbo treatment. Blocked. No.
So yeah, y'all please don't do that. Yeah, so link tree, I went over that. If you listen to us on Apple, y'all please give us a 5-star review, 1 star, whatever star you're gonna give us. Give us one.
And comment. If you leave a 1, justify that 1 star.
Yeah.
Justify. Be descriptive. Don't just say I hate their conversations.
Let us know what's up.
Give us some context.
Yeah.
Context is key.
You can email us.
Yes. You can hit us up on Instagram.
All that good stuff.
Twitter.
Facebook.
Yes.
Email.
Yes.
We welcome it all.
We do.
So, we're still on our series. It's only 10, bro.
It's only 10.
So we're talking about these good old 10 Commandments. The purpose of this series of conversations is how can we as a people, we as a community, we as a nation, that we just abide by these 10 simple statements, these 10 commandments, how would they impact our society? How would they benefit us? I think as we all can see, morality is kind of low.
It's on life support.
Yeah.
It really is. It's on life support.
Over the course of these conversations, we've also established that coming out of Matthew 22, I believe it was, where Jesus said there are 2 great commandments. The first of these commandments is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul and strength. And then the second is likened unto it, love your neighbor as you love yourself. We've established that when Moses went up into the mountain in Exodus 19, Exodus 20, he came back down with 2 tablets of stone, which we believed had those 10 commandments on them. And you can pretty much say that the first tablet more than likely probably had the first 5 commandments, which will be equal to what Jesus said is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Then the second one is second tablet, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So with that, the first 5 commandments are more than likely what we believe is man towards God, our commandments towards Him,
Mm-hmm.
how we should look towards Him, how
Mm-hmm.
we should um,
Reverence.
reverence Him, how we should be adoring Him,
Yes.
how we should conduct ourselves towards Him,
Yes.
and in doing that, it shifts us to those last five, and we take what we get from that relationship, and it causes us to treat our fellow man, our brothers, our sisters, those we come in contact with. It causes us to treat them with love, respect, and dignity as well. So that's what we're trying to, you know, not so much preach, but kind of get you thinking about. Um, so, brief recap. First commandment: Thou shalt have no other gods before me. That's pretty self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so don't be trying to worship your job or your family more than you worship God.
That's facts.
You shall not have any graven images. I think one of the examples we gave when we talked about that was in America is all I think it's pretty well known. We worship the almighty dollar.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to New York Stock Exchange, there is a big bull
Mm-hmm.
that represents the stock market, which I think we said in that particular conversation as well. It's kind of funny. We talking about the children of Israel, and Moses went up to while he's up there on the mountain. I find it kind of funny that the thing that they building down at the bottom of the mountain while he's up on the mountain talking to God is a bull.
Yep.
Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? You see a pattern right there. The third one was,
You should not take the Lord's name in vain.
and we're going to find out what that actually meant is you're not supposed to be doing evil in the Lord's name. So you can't be going out here saying you're doing all this stuff and just attaching the Lord's name to it. No, He doesn't approve of that. He's not going to approve of evil.
You render His name useless when you do stuff like that.
Don't be doing that. The fourth commandment we found out was we need to be taking a Sabbath. We need to be taking a rest. It's good for you to rest. If God the Creator took a day to rest,
He took a day.
you ain't more important than Him. So take you some time off. You ain't gotta be no workaholic. Take some time off. Spend time with your family. Rejuvenate your body. You need it. All right. Your body can only go so far. The fifth commandment. Well, this is the first one that actually has a promise attached to it. We're supposed to be honoring our parents. All right. I would highly recommend your children, just the whole family, really sit down and listen to that one. That was a good conversation. If I must say so. Out of all the ones we done did so far, that one I would definitely highly recommend that the whole family sits down and watch that one. The most previous, our last episode, where we're kind of shifting into the set of the commandments where we're dealing with our fellow man. The first one out the gate, the scripture is going to say, "Thou shalt not kill." When we actually look into the actual definition of the word kill, it actually should read, "Thou shalt not murder." And the one of the things we established was that murder is the intentional, where you intently, have already premeditated, you're about to go and take someone's life.
Yes.
We kind of came from the angle of, and it's a hot topic, but it still needs to be discussed nonetheless, especially from those of us in the church, from a biblical perspective. One thing, the angle we really came from on that last episode is how, especially within this nation, we are intentionally killing off the next generation through the avenue of abortion. You will also find, if you go back to that last episode, there are links on those where we, not only did we, it's already kind of pretty much established that, Therese and I have a strong opinion about abortion. We stand for life, because that's what God stands for. That's what the scriptures command us to stand for. So we're going to be on the side of God, okay? But one of the things we did want to kind of input and get the information out there about, for those who are kind of on the fence about abortion, if you've never actually seen or know what it is, how the abortions are done, we've included links in the last episode to actual licensed OBGYNs who have performed these procedures, and they actually show you what it is that they're doing when they perform these procedures from first trimester, second, third. They discuss it. They tell you what it is that they're doing. I highly recommend you go back and look at those.
Don't do it while you eating.
Please don't. But yeah, we should not be intentionally going to take life.
We also made an allusion to the Babylonian deity, Molech, and how the people would they would sacrifice their children. And then come to find out, you do a little more research. They did that for it's a financial benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because apparently the Babylonian people sacrificing their children to this deity was supposed to bring them fortune, bring them wealth, good standing within their society.
I find it funny that
that's so wild, right?
We're saying the exact same thing today.
Hey man, ain't nothing new under the sun.
There's absolutely nothing new. So you got people that's literally telling you you're going to hinder your career or something.
I mean, people call this New Babylon anyway. But that's for topic for another conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole another conversation. All right, this conversation today, seventh commandment,
number 7.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
You shall not commit adultery. So, Maurice, what is adultery, dog?
All right, so, in this particular text, this is the first time we actually see the word adultery mentioned anywhere in Scripture.
Mm-hmm.
So, I went and looked it up, and the Hebrew is the Hebrew word na'af. Hope I said that right. And from my research, it means to apostatize. Is when a man or woman breaks wedlock,
The covenant.
breaks their covenant to commit sexual acts with another. For a man, he's with another woman, or with someone else's wife. Vice versa, a woman with another man or with another woman's husband. The word to apostatize, I found this to be quite interesting. It means to commit apostasy, which that is an act of refusing to continue to follow, obey, or recognize a religious faith.
Oh, become an apostate.
Another definition of it is the abandonment of a previous loyalty.
Ooh.
So, in the context of adultery, two individuals, as God defines marriage, is a man and a woman in a marital covenant. Is when one of those individuals breaks that covenant and it goes outside of that covenant to commit a sexual act with another man or woman. They have not committed adultery.
Got you. So the word adultery is related to the word adulterate, which means to render something poorer in quality by adding another substance. Now, that is another part of the conversation that we're going to get to.
Push pause. Repeat that again. Repeat that again.
So it's related to the word adulterate, which means to render something poorer in quality by adding another substance. There's a lot of chew on it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Adultery is the adulteration of marriage by the addition of a third person. Adultery is voluntary sexual activity between a married person and someone other than his or her spouse.
Hit rewind.
Rewind.
Go back to that first part you just said on that section.
Okay. Adultery is the adulteration of marriage by the addition of a third person.
Push pause. So are you telling me, based on what you just said, in this freaky society that we got now, folks shouldn't be doing no threesomes?
So, that's a later conversation. Yes and no. Yes and no. Now, other part of that conversation would be polygamy. But we'll get to that a little later on down the line in the conversation. So,
I didn't even think about bringing polygamy.
I got it in my notes.
Okay.
Because in certain cultures, well, even so, all right, since we're going to go there, let me go down to my notes and find it first. Where are you at? All right, here we go. So in the Old Testament, polygamy was allowed by God, but was never endorsed by him.
Okay.
All right. Polygamy was not considered adultery because although a third person or perhaps a fourth or fifth, etc., was added to the marriage, the additional women were legally included in the marriage. A polygamist only engaged in sexual activity with someone a polygamist who engaged in sexual activity with someone other than his legal wives was still considered committing adultery. Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Gather your thoughts. You didn't think I was gonna go there today, did you?
I just wasn't thinking about it. See, that's why it's good. It's good to have two.
That's why it's good to have a conversation.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So how do if a person who listened to this conversation and they say, "Well, you just said the Bible had polygamy in it, so why is it wrong for?"
But here's the thing, though. Everything is permissible, but not beneficial.
Right.
Yeah. Think about it. So think about this. I love my wife. There is no way in the world I want to add another woman into the equation. Think about it. You think about the turmoil and rocking. Okay, the heated fellowship that you get into with your spouse.
Oh yeah.
All right. Why would you want to? Would you want to be going in that with multiple women? It's no, but also your affairs become divided. We talked about this before.
Yep.
I want to say season 2, maybe.
Which conversation?
I can't remember. It was I think it was one of the single but saved conversations where I was talking about. We were talking to the single folks. We were saying that once you get married, your affairs become divided. Because now your attention is not only here, but it's here. Yeah. So like we're married husbands. Yeah. We're husbands. We have kids as well. So our affairs are like we gotta worry about the kids. We gotta worry about the wife. We gotta worry about the house. We gotta worry about this. Yeah. Your affairs become divided. Now, why would you want to add more women into that equation? A lot of men think about it and be like, I think from the lust standpoint. Yeah. Of, oh man, I get my never mind.
High def after dark.
High def after dark. I have multiple women that I could be sexually gratified by or pleased by, but you also got to think about it. The other stuff that comes with that. Yeah.
That's a lot.
If she wants your attention, but she wants your attention, now you're jockeying for your attention.
Not the.
Even Solomon went through it in the Bible. Read about that. I mean,
thousands.
You see what I'm saying? And it wasn't beneficial. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's one of those things where a lot you got to think about it from the standpoint. Now, if you from Solomon's standpoint, it's about lineage. Mm-hmm. So he had multiple wives that way his lineage could be expanded. And his kingdom and all that, but nowadays we're just thinking about it from, oh man, I get to have sex with all these women. No.
Some people also. Now I did see. I think it might have been on Instagram. Somebody did like a little reel or something about it, and they were saying how they've entered into a polyamorous relationship for the financial benefit of it.
And I mean that's another thing as well.
But is it? Since we're on this topic, if we come from a biblical, if we want to be as in line with Scripture as we can be,
right?
And none of us are perfect.
No.
Is a polygamous relationship, according to the faith now, being that we're in the New Testament, are we as believers supposed to be engaging in that?
No. Because our marriage covenant is supposed to be how Christ loves us. Mm-hmm. So we're supposed to is me and I am the bride, he is the groom, correct?
Correct.
From a biblical standpoint now. I know somebody out there like, oh, what? No. From the biblical spiritual standpoint, how Christ is in a relationship with us, or we're in a relationship with him. He is, because he's the head of our life, right? So he is the groom and we are the bride. All right. He's like that with each and every one of us. Right. Now somebody be like, well, ain't that a polygamous? No. Because my relationship with God is my relationship.
Right.
Your relationship is your relationship. So our marriages are supposed to emulate that.
Yeah.
So if I'm married to two different women, how does that align with me and God?
Especially when even Jesus said, and I think it's in Matthew 19, for this cause a man shall leave his mother and father and be joined to his wife, not his wives. So we got to consider that. Okay.
I mean, if where you are in the world, if that culture and that society is okay with it, if that's what you want to do, then by all means, I say go to God first.
Yeah. As we have stated multiple times, we don't have the heaven or hell to put you in.
We do not.
We don't have that authority to say where you're going. So
I also say work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
Yeah.
Whatever, because what I value, you might not value, but I just say make sure it lines up with the word of God and value that. So
for where we stand, marriage is one man and one woman.
Facts.
All right. So adultery. How does adultery impact our society today?
So think about it from an emotional standpoint. When a man cheats on his wife, the emotional impact that it has. I mean, even in the Bible, he was talking about who was it? Who was it that they went into Egypt and they said that their wife was their sister?
Abraham.
Yes. And was it the king at that time? He said, you're gonna have me put a plague on my city because you're walking around saying that this woman is your sister and she just needs your wife. So let's look at that. The turmoil that it causes in a family.
Yeah.
He was talking about a city. But also I think that, let's look at your house. Let's look at your family as a city.
Okay.
Your family is a city. The people who are in your family, that's the residents of your city. All right. You are the king, your wife's the queen.
Yep.
You bring another woman in and cheat on your wife with that woman, your wife finds out. It not only impacts your wife, if you got kids, it impacts them. Yeah. Also, if you are someone who is very revered in your family, it impacts them as well.
Of course.
So nieces, nephews, cousins, grandparents, your parents done fell in love with this woman. Now you done cheated on her. That's a heartache for them as well. Because if these people are, my pastors say this, anytime you invite somebody to your wedding, you're giving them permission to have some sort of authority in your marriage. Meaning that if I entrust you to be in the presence of me concealing a covenant with my spouse, I reverence you enough in my life for you to see us, whether that you having those hard conversations with us, like sitting us down, having those conversations, you have some sort of input. And a lot of times you be like, oh, it's just a wedding, we just invite people. No. Because think about it. In biblical times, these ceremonies were very sacred. You didn't just invite anybody. You invited royalty, or the close people that are there to uplift your marriage. That's why they ask if anyone has any objections speak now, forever hold your peace.
Yeah.
Meaning that if you don't want to see that marriage go forth, you say something right then. That is your last time. If you have any alt after they say that and the I do is done, here's the deal. You can never say I never liked that boy anyway. You hold your objection to you and you hold that.
Yeah.
Don't ever let that come out your mouth, because if you sat in the presence, you didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
You should be uplifting us. You should not be tearing us down.
Yeah. And that's true, because be careful how I say this. I have seen individuals who, after they have already entered into the marriage, they started having issues, and they didn't reveal those issues that were going on before they even got married. And I've seen individuals literally tell them, if you would have told us about this, because we're your friends.
Yes.
Like, and you call us like your close friends.
Yeah.
So why didn't you tell us about this?
Right.
We would have told you from the jump. Yeah, either hold off or don't.
And think about, even what the Bible talks about friendship. Like, this is why you got to be very careful who you call your friend, because it talks about laying down your life for friends. Like, that ain't no easy feat. That's something that I'm not gonna just lay down my life for some random person.
Right.
I mean, if you do, God be with you. That's awesome. But friendship, that's some. I almost took a bullet for a friend. Like, literally. That's how I value my friendships.
Yeah.
Like, to lay my life down for you, that's what it's supposed to be about. And if you ain't willing to lay your life down for a friend, guess what? You shouldn't call them your friend.
That's why I tell my kids, y'all are young, big. I said, me and your mama done already been through where y'all going through. Who you call a friend, that's a very serious and sacred. And even the scripture talks about there are friends that stick closer than brothers.
Exactly.
So who I label as a friend, and then who I give that title of a brother to.
Because think about that, though. So think about that. I don't choose who my brother is. I choose who my friends are.
Yep.
Brothers and sisters are blood. I don't get to choose that.
Nope.
Friends, I choose that. That is something sacred, because one, I can say, hey, me and Maurice's brothers, I didn't choose Maurice. Me and Maurice don't like each other. That's my brother, though. I'm my brother, though, right? Like, but Nicholas Hayward, that's my friend. I chose him.
Yeah.
For friendship.
Shout out Nick.
Shout out to my Bros at Views, man. We on hiatus right now, but we coming back soon. But that's how I chose. I chose that friendship. That means that I am putting my character on the line for you.
That says a lot right there.
You see what I'm saying?
That says a lot.
Character.
Yeah. Let's get back to the conversation.
Let's go.
So here's why I think adultery impacts our society, because it kind of goes with what you were saying a few moments ago. It deals with what I believe is the building block of society, which is the family.
That's facts. That is the first building block of society.
So when a man, because now it ain't just men cheating.
No, women out here. Hot girl summer. It's here.
It ain't just men cheating.
No.
All right. So when you have a committed man and a committed woman in a marriage, and they are working to build that marriage through, as we talked about on the last episode, the peaks and valleys, they're going through that.
Yeah.
Now they have children. They're raising those children. When people look at that, they are setting a model for others to potentially want to have in their own personal life.
Your children.
Raising the children. Now, when you enter adultery into the mix, it's like you're tearing all that down.
There you go.
So you're making those who are single, who want to be married, like, well, if they sitting there doing it, then is there any hope for me?
Right.
Or
the ramifications, the fallout from all that.
And let's keep it real. If we're all honest, you love Candace, I love Thelma.
Yep.
There's no mistaking about that.
None.
If somebody was to hold a gun to your head and ask you straight up, Therese, have you ever looked at another woman and just said she just downright fine?
I would. Why put me on the line like that?
I've said it though.
We are.
I mean, you're gonna notice.
You're gonna notice women. Now it's the double take. Watch where your thoughts go. That's bring those thoughts into captivity.
Same thing for the ladies.
Yeah.
There's probably a dude out there that looks better than your husband. He probably got more body. There's
6-pack.
all that.
You know.
Because guess what? You got your husband or you got your wife already. But somebody else that ain't got none. So maybe God preparing that person for that one.
There you
and
go.
You just happen to notice.
Facts. Yeah.
I mean, it's what, 7 going on 8 billion people in the world.
There are.
All these you already married.
Yep.
They need to get married too.
They do. Stop blocking somebody a blessing. Stop blocking your own.
But I said that. So just because you notice things, just because you see other people, you can't walk around the world blind. Nope. You're gonna notice. You're gonna see. It's not your job, where it's your duty to. You're gonna have to. Yeah, you like Teresa said. You notice when you start doing that double take, you're gonna start getting thoughts in your head. Those thoughts could potentially lead to actions. Those actions are then eventually going to lead to consequences. So you got to be careful. Because especially if you've already started to build a legacy with your family, with your children. Once you've already started building something, and now you could potentially, by letting that thought enter into your head, and then it leading you to an action. Now you got the potential of what you've been building. It could come crumbling down.
The little foxes.
So we have to be careful about that, because, like I said, the family is the building block of society. What leads a person to cheat? It's probably a multiple.
So what leads people? That's different. It's a multitude of things. It could be a bunch of different things. I think one of the in today's society, I think that
if we just come from the context of what causes a person to cheat on their husband or their wife.
Okay, I'll say
from your own personal experience, from people you probably talked to. I know some individuals who have gone through that.
I think
but have you noticed
those I think expectations, unrealistic expectations, because I think that when that's a loaded question, dude.
We'll have to put that on the docket.
Yeah. It's a multitude of things. I think that not healing. So if you're very promiscuous in your singleness, not truly healing from that, thinking that marriage is going to cure those urges to be with multiple women
or men.
That, and then you bring that into, like, you don't really heal from that, don't really get therapy from that, even get to the root of why you were promiscuous in your singleness, and then you think that, oh, I'm gonna just get married, I'm gonna be with this woman for the rest of my life. No. You haven't addressed the thing that the gaping wound that is open is that you got some unresolved issue. I don't know if it's from your childhood or whatever, and you're filling that void with sex with multiple people. And when you don't address that in your singleness, move into a marriage thinking that that's going to be the Band-Aid for it, you're putting a Band-Aid over a gunshot wound. And sooner or later, you might be satisfied for a minute. And then after a while, things that valley, you start going through that valley in your marriage. And then what? You start doing this. You start entertaining conversation.
Yeah.
You start scrolling through Instagram, double tap. Let me holler at an old friend. You start entertaining these things, and then those emotions start to,
yeah.
All right, and now, intimacy with my spouse isn't all that. I need a little spice, so let me go see what cinnamon got over here, and let me go see what salt and pepper, cayenne. Let me go see all these different spices and see what's up. You're not really you don't address the trauma, whatever that may be, that caused you to be promiscuous.
Yeah.
I think that's one.
I think where there's a lack of communication in the marriage.
Yes.
That's going to open the door.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Yes. I'm kind of going off memory. I think there is a study that has shown that for the most part, men tend to have a higher sex drive than women.
At a certain age, yes. As women get older, I think they actually
there's increases.
There's increases and ours kind of decreases. Yeah. That's why older women go after younger men.
Yeah.
They try to find that compatibility. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I think for one, us as men, there is that drive has to be kind of fulfilled in some sort of way. Mm-hmm. So I think when we're not communicating like, hey, I have this need.
Yep.
I'm not trying to go out here and do this. Mm-hmm. But after so long.
Those are the conversations that you have to have within your marriage. Because, like you said, you have these realistic expectations that you need to address, and you have these unrealistic expectations that you have to address. And when you don't address the unrealistic expectations,
yeah.
So another thing, pornography in your singleness, that's a big thing too, because a lot of times pornography is not for sex ed. Okay?
Period.
At all. That junk is scripted.
The bodies ain't real.
It's fake. Hairbrushed, all that stuff. Heck, you can go, like, there are porn stars that will tell you this stuff is fake.
Yeah.
They'll tell you that all day long. All right? Lust of the eyes. Bible talks bad about that. All right? Don't even venture to that, because one, what you're seeing is, it's scripted.
Yep.
If you take that expectation into your marriage or into any relationship, really, you're creating unrealistic expectations.
You're setting up an idol.
You are. Because now what you're saying, you're thinking that, like, oh man, I want my woman to have these big old, this. She gotta have the fatty, she gotta do da. She gotta be. I want her to do this sexually to me. I want her da. Whoa. Unrealistic expectations. Because what happens is you keep that mindset going into your marriage, and then none of that is fulfilled. Now you're looking for an out to try to find that fulfillment. But guess what? There might be someone out there who may try to fulfill that for you, but it ain't gonna be like that all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I am of the belief that, one, we should be clean slates going into we should be clean slates going into our marriages, not knowing what to really expect from sexual activity. That's something that you work together towards, because what happens is when you're promiscuous in your singleness, now you start having comparisons. You start drawing comparisons. So, all right, let's just say you've been with 10 different women in your singleness. Each one of them sexually gratified you a different way. And now you're okay, I find Christ. Awesome. I'm made new, all that. Now, let's talk about the human element here. The human element is you never really forget those experiences. So now you have to come to a grip in your marriage that what I used to do is not the expectation from my spouse. Because let's just say you marry a virgin. She ain't never been pleased sexually. She ain't ever pleased anyone sexually. So now, these little things that y'all do, your experiences create an expectation. She can't meet that expectation. So now I'm bored. So now we're having to, if we don't go to therapy, we go to therapy, I'm the one who, like, you're the man really was the one that needs it.
Yeah.
But that's your spouse. She's going to be there and walk you through that. You have to get to a place where it's, okay, look, I'm okay with this not being how my past was. And you try to find some type of cohesiveness between you two. Because, like you said, like, I've heard stories where the guys would be like, she ain't like so and so. You can't make that comparison, bro. Because now you're putting her up against someone else.
Yep.
This is your spouse here. Stop comparing her to your past.
That's the one that you asked to marry you.
Yes. So I tell people, premarital counseling, therapy. If you're promiscuous in your singleness, and then you find the Lord, and then Siri, we're not gonna try again. We're not trying again.
Sorry about that, y'all.
But you should be wanting to speak with someone, a sex therapist, because there are going to be things in your relationships that are going to still be there. They're still going to be there. Those scars are still going to be there, and you got to address it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't address those scars going into that marriage, you're creating an unrealistic expectation on your spouse.
And if you don't talk about those things too, like, you may know what you want. It could also too, if you do have that situation where if one of the spouses is a virgin and the other one's not, you're gonna have to talk about these things.
You got to.
What is it that you like? What is it that you want to potentially explore? Because I think too, especially in the church, we have to have a open conversation about sexuality.
Yes.
And we have to have these conversations about, because the Bible says marriage is honorable and the bed is undefiled.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean that we have to stick to, can I be real? You don't have to just have the same positions every night, every time you be willing to explore.
Yes.
You might go from the bedroom to the couch, or you might go from
couch to the car. Whatever.
Wherever you trying to.
Whatever.
So they might mean some different positions you're going to have to maneuver your body into, different things you're going to be trying. Let's just put that out there.
Yeah. Let's be real here. Let's be real.
Some of y'all church folk trying to be all deep.
Stop being all prudent. Come on now.
And some of y'all is like that because you need to get a release. That's Maurice. That's me.
That's Maurice.
You can bring it to me if you got an issue with what I just said. I just feel like some of y'all really do need a release. You backed up.
Why? It's your mouth. It's your mouth. It's your mouth, man. It's your mouth. And see,
I'm sorry.
it's you.
Y'all pray for me.
I'm gonna continue. Continue.
But we need to have that conversation. All right. So, adultery.
Mm-hmm. You know, King Solomon said that the adulterer destroys his own soul.
Isn't that in Proverbs 6?
It's Proverbs 6 and 32.
I was reading it earlier. That whole dialogue right there, I would highly recommend going. I forget what verse it starts at, but it's Proverbs 6. Just read the whole chapter. But like towards the end, towards the end of it, Solomon he's talking about how my son, pay attention to the words of your father, bind the words of your mother on your neck. They will keep you from all kind of trouble. And he was saying that in the context also of, because right after he says that, he's like, what they telling you is going to keep you from this adulterous woman.
Yes.
The seduction in her eyes, they'll draw you away.
Hey, can y'all think of some celebrities like that? Oof. Think about it. All right.
So
she look good. She ain't good for you.
Proverbs 6. Just read the whole chapter. So from a societal context or viewpoint, what you got?
No, I got Proverbs 6. Proverbs 6 gives some stern warning against committing adultery, giving correction and instruction, keeping you from your own neighbor's wife. That's in verses 23 and 4.
And now think about it, going towards the end of that. So here's another thing that adultery does. Not only does it mess up your family, but if you're in a situation where
the other person's married,
exactly,
well, there you go.
Because I think it goes further in chapter 6 of Proverbs where that woman's husband, you can't pay him off.
Nope.
That rage, you're opening up a whole can of worms right there.
Think about David. What did he try to do?
Had Uriah killed.
Well, he had him killed, but what did he try to do before that though?
Tried to cover it up.
He tried to get Uriah to sleep with his wife Bathsheba.
Yeah.
But he was like, "No, I'm not touching you while my men out there on the front line."
But could that have been a reason to why both of them ended up in the position that they did though? As far as David and Bathsheba.
Yeah.
Apparently Uriah, I think I might have mentioned this on another episode. Uriah had to be somebody that was so, and this could be something that leads to adultery too. He was so committed to being on his job.
Yes.
Oh, he was so committed to his career.
That's a good point. Exactly.
That she felt neglected.
There you go. Now here's David, the king.
If I'm not mistaken, David is still married at that point to what's Saul's daughter. I think she's still. If I could be wrong. Michael.
Yeah.
Remember when David was bringing back the glory? He bringing back the ark. He was dancing in the street, and she basically said, "Oh, this is how a king's supposed to be acting. You supposed to be acting real dignified." And David's like, "You're not appreciating me for this is how I'm getting the glory back. Like you don't appreciate me for who I am." So Bathsheba's being neglected. David's being unappreciated.
Yeah. Ooh. Men need to be honored and respected. Women need to be
loved and secured.
Boom. Look at that. Look at that. So you got both those parallels going on.
So that could be something that's leading to
Yeah.
some of these adulterous affairs that we see in the world today.
No respect to the man and no love to the woman.
So
ooh.
What do y'all think about that? I think I'm gonna cut that part, make it real. I think I'll make it real.
I like that.
But so adultery, I don't even ever want to think about this ever happening. I don't even want to think about myself being in that situation to where because I know somebody who has done this to where they literally walked in the house and they seen their wife, another dude was in the house.
Seen clips like that on social media.
And he said, he literally told me, he said, bruh, it took everything in me not to get my gun and shoot him.
It's a crime of passion. That's a crime of passion.
I don't even want. So when we get into these situations, do we ever think about those type of outcomes?
And think about the previous commandment.
That's
Ooh.
Think about the commandment before that. If you listen to what your parents was telling you, Proverbs 6.
Don't be going after these facetious women.
I mean,
Ooh. We trying to make the parallels to how society is right now, and we hitting the nail on the head right now.
Here's something else that I don't think that we think about in the context of adultery as well. You get into these adulterous affairs.
Mm-hmm.
What if you also now brought a child out of that affair?
Ooh.
Have we ever thought about that? The child didn't ask to be here.
No.
So what if that happens? You're able to work it out with your spouse, but now this child is going to be brought up in a broken home. Have we ever thought about that
The implications
dynamic?
that's on that child. Yeah. We don't think about that.
I mean, have we ever thought about that dynamic?
Wow.
Because the child is not being brought into an actual family setting. Because the way God intends for it is for a man to marry a woman, and for out of that marital covenant and relationship, into that is what children are to be born into.
Facts.
But when you have an adulterous affair and a child is brought in through that adulterous affair, that child is not being brought into that loving marital home, marital relationship. That child not being birthed out of it is being birthed out of, basically is being birthed out of lust.
Yep.
And that child didn't ask to be brought into the world like that. Now, we have established on another episode, God intends for people to get here. The way he wants for them to get here is through marriage. But because of sin, Adam and Eve, things happen, we get it. But I think we got to consider that. I think the whole purpose of this particular commandment is basically it's supposed to protect the family unit.
Yeah.
Because that's the building block of society.
And we have disrupted that tremendously.
All the way. So, you got to think about that. Consider all that.
So check this out. So according to infidelity statistics, about 40% of unmarried relationships and 25% of marriages see at least one incident of infidelity.
Hold on, repeat that again.
So according to infidelity statistics, about 40% of unmarried relationships, meaning that someone cheats on someone,
but they're not married.
They're not married. But
so that's 40%.
40%. And 25% of marriages see at least one incident of infidelity.
Wow.
Now, it doesn't specify what that infidelity is, though. So we always think that infidelity is necessarily you cheating on a spouse by sexual activity with someone else.
Right.
But pornography plays a part in that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, some people are like, I don't really think that pornography is infidelity. Well, the Bible does say that if a man
looks on a woman and lusts after her, he's already done it in his heart.
There you go. Now, granted, from the spiritual standpoint, from the temporal standpoint, I think a man sleeping with an actual woman has a lot of more weight on it.
Yeah.
There's a lot more weight on it.
Yeah. But even in that context,
Ooh, 70% of all Americans engage in some kind of affair sometime during their marital life. That's a big stat there. See, I'm thinking that's a conglomerate of different things.
it's got to be.
It's got to be because, like I just said, people hold different values to what they consider infidelity. Some it's just cheating with an actual person. Some it's cheating with an actual person in pornography.
Yeah.
Some it's looking at scantily clad women on Instagram. You see what I'm saying?
So how do you actually define?
How do you define it?
So in that context, it's real subjective.
Very.
So infidelity is in the eye of the beholder.
Woo.
But according to that stat, that's
According to
basically
that
what it
stat,
is.
yes.
So, but we actually had context of what they define or what this particular,
It doesn't say.
or this particular people who got these stats and did these surveys. How do they define infidelity? Then we can really pinpoint it.
So let's look at what Solomon says. Do not lust in your heart after her beauty, and let her captivate you with her eyes. Another man's wife preys on your very on your very life. Can a man scoop fire into his lap without his clothes being burned? Can a man walk on hot coals without his feet being scorched? So if he who sleeps with another man's wife, no one who touches her will go unpunished. Don't play with fire. It's what I got from that.
Don't do it.
Don't play with fire.
Even if you cold.
Woo. The Lord said he'd rather you be hot or cold, but don't be lukewarm.
If you cold,
Stay cold. Stay cold.
Stay cold.
cold.
Don't go
cold.
towards that fire.
Don't. That fire will scorch you.
Go back and get your fire kindled at home.
Woo. Fire kindled. Fire kindled. Anyway. That's a dad joke. I'm sorry.
No comment. So,
visual infidelity, emotional infidelity. Those are two different kinds of infidelity, and then of course physical, which we've already stated.
The emotional thing, though, is it possible? What if you enter into that type of infidelity because either your husband or your wife is not providing that safe place for you at home, and then you meet someone or you might have somebody at work?
It says it right there. Yeah, go ahead.
And they're fulfilling that particular need for you.
There you go. Yeah.
Which goes back to, and I guess it's kind of like going out to those of us that's married, or if you want to be married, the communication at home has to be, and I think that's going to be always be something that's has to be continuously worked on. Both of you have to intentionally want to communicate.
So, good movie, Temptations. Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
Think about the wife. They didn't. Her husband didn't communicate really on. She felt everything was just boring. Then all of a sudden, she's at work. This exciting guy comes in.
Rich dude.
Oh, he's got a nice. He's single. Got a lot of money. He's spontaneous. He's edgy. My husband is safe. Kind of boring.
Yeah.
Let me go see what this is about. And then we know how the movie trip played out.
Yeah. But another Tyler Perry reference. The 80-20 rule. We go out and we chase the 20%. Not knowing you leaving at 80. Once you go over here, you get this 20. I think the way he said it was most people in their relationship they really only get 80% of what they really want.
Because we don't talk about it.
Exactly. But then you go ahead, you see 20% sitting over here, and it's exciting. It's new. It's spontaneous.
All I'm gonna say is 80 is better than 20.
Exactly. Once you get over there and you get 20,
right,
you're gonna realize you done left 80 over here.
I got $1 billion sitting over here, $1 million sitting over here. I'm not going after that million. I'm going after the $1 billion. What?
We'll see.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, no.
Nah, but talk it out, guys. Like for real though, because we've seen so many marriages have just fallen apart because people don't talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's talk about your expectations. Talk about the things that you desire within your marriage.
Talk about your insecurities too.
Oh yes, please do.
Talk about your insecurities.
Please do. That's and you. So when you're in the dating phase or the courting phase, courting phase, whatever you want to call it, like you should get to a point in your relationship where one marriage should always be the end goal. Mm-hmm. It should be. Your intent is to date to marry. Now, of course, things fall off the rails. That relationship it ends. Then you find someone else. You're on that new journey. But marriage should always be the end goal of a relationship.
Yep.
You should get to a place in your relationships where you're able to really confide in a person, especially if y'all are really serious. And a lot of times when you do that, how a person responds to that will indicate the type of person that they're gonna be in your marriage. So if you're in a marriage with someone or a relationship with someone you're dating, and y'all get to that, you've been dating for, I'm not gonna put a time span on it because your relationship is your relationship. But let's say you've been dating 6 months. And you feel like, I can really confide in this person. We spend a lot of time together. We met parents and this and that. And then you confide some insecurities, and they kind of downplay those or kind of make fun of those. Like, speak and say, that's hurtful. Like, be blunt.
Right.
Say, hey, I'm trusting you with this information, and I want you to take it serious, but you're playing with it.
Yeah.
Like, that don't float well with me. You know what I'm saying? If they're kind of like, oh, you're being, that should be an indication that you're probably not the type of person that I want to be with, because if you're going to do this now, you possibly going to do this when we get married. Yep. You'll never take me serious.
And it's going to always be something that's going to come up.
Red flag.
Yeah.
Red flag.
It's going to always be something that's going to come up.
And don't be afraid. And I tell people, don't be afraid to start a new relationship. Don't be.
So, you got anything else, brother?
Trying to look and see. But watch out for the emotional adultery. Like you said, it could be the guy at work, it could be the person at the gym, another parent on soccer, your kid's sports team, whatever. But if you find yourself confiding in someone who isn't your spouse, that should be a red flag for you. Yeah. That one, you shouldn't be doing that. But if you feel that you can't confide in your spouse with this information, then y'all need to go to therapy. Ain't nothing wrong. Look, I'm all for Jesus and a brown couch. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Let's not be too holier than thou to say, oh, God's gonna fix it all. Because I believe that God will put people in your life that will help y'all fix it.
Yeah.
It's like, I believe the Bible is therapy, but I also believe that there are people who are skilled to take biblical principles and turn them into
practical tools
for us to apply.
Yep.
Especially a lot of times we read the Bible, we be like, I can't really decipher this. You know, I believe God has graced people in that sphere of influence and therapy that know how to take the word and chop that thing down and turn it into a tool for you to apply your life.
Yeah,
but just give somebody a chance. Give them a chance to. Don't be afraid of therapy.
Yeah,
don't be afraid of it, because a lot of marriages that have ended prematurely,
they could have been
saved by therapy.
They could have been prevented.
Could have been saved by therapy. You know.
So remember, adultery. This commandment is all about protecting the family unit.
Yes. So all about the family. All about the family. Get into a marriage, and also make sure you get into marriage for the right reason.
Don't just do it because you're horny.
There you go. That is the worst. Because now you're building your foundation on something that ain't gonna be there, or something that's not gonna be mind blowing all the time. Have it on something that is sound and solid.
Yeah.
All right. Don't look. Because there'll be times the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just put it like that.
That's the Bible.
That's the Bible. I'm going to put it like that. Because, you know, after a while, things start to sag. Blood don't flow like it used to. But if you build your marriage off of things that are concrete and that last forever, your marriage will last forever.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Y'all let us know what y'all think about what we think and what we've said. This is another episode of the High Definition Podcast. I'm Maurice.
I'm Therese.
Y'all remember to live life
from the highest definition.
We will catch y'all on the next episode.
Don't commit adultery.
Y'all heard this here.